Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवारि पाश्चात्याय देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Ribo. So today we continue reading Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text number 10. Uktramantam stitam vapi bhunjanam vagunanvitam Vimudhananu Pashyanti Jnana-chakshushaha. Utkramantam, greeting the body, Stitam, situated in the body, Papi, either, Bunjanam, enjoying, Va, or Gunanvitam, under the spell of the modes of material nature, Vimudaha, foolish persons, Na, never, Anupashyanti, can see, Pashyanti, one can see, Jnana-chakshusha, one who has the eyes of knowledge. Translation. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge, can see all this. Purport. The word jnana chakshusha is very significant. Without knowledge, one cannot understand how a living entity leaves his present body, nor what form of body he is going to get in the next life, nor even why he is living in a particular type of body. This requires a great amount of knowledge, understood from Bhagavad Gita and similar literatures heard from a bona fide spiritual master. One who is trained to perceive all these things is fortunate. Every living entity is quitting his body under certain circumstances. He is living under certain circumstances and enjoying under certain circumstances, under the spell of material nature. As a result, he is suffering different kinds of happiness and distress, under the illusion of sense enjoyment. Persons who are everlastingly fooled by lust and desire lose all power of understanding their change of body, and their stay in a particular body. They cannot comprehend it. Those who have developed spiritual knowledge, however, can see that the spirit is different from the body and is changing its body and enjoying in different ways. A person in such knowledge can understand how the conditioned living entity is suffering in this material existence. Therefore, those who are highly developed in Krishna consciousness try their best to give this knowledge to the people in general, for their conditioned life is very much troublesome. They should come out of it and be Krishna conscious and liberate themselves to transfer to the spiritual world. Yatanto yoginaschainam pashyantyatmani avashtitam yatyantopya akritatmano nainam pashyanti achetasaha. Yatantaha, endeavoring yoginaha, transcendentalists, cha also, enam this pashyanti can see atmani in the self, avashtitam situated, yatantaha, although endeavoring, api, although akritatmana, without self-realization, na does not, enam this pashyanti can see, achetasa, undeveloped mind. Translation. The endeavoring transcendentalist, who is situated in self-realization, can see all this clearly. But those who are not situated in self realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try to. Purport. There are many transcendentalists in the path of spiritual self realization, but one who is not situated in self realization cannot see how things are changing in the body of the living entity. The word yoginaha is significant in this connection. In the present day, there are many so called yogis and there are many so called associations of yogis, but they are actually blind in the matter of self realization. They are simply addicted to some sort of gymnastic exercise and are satisfied if the body is well built and healthy. They have no other information. They are called Yatantopi Akritatmanaha. Even though they are endeavoring in a so called yoga system, they are not self realized. Such people cannot understand the process of the transmigration of the soul. Only those who are actually in the yoga system and have realized the self, the world, and the Supreme Lord, in other words, the Bhakti yogis, those engaged in pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness, can understand how things are taking place. Yad aditya gatam tejo jagad pashyate khilam yad chandramasi yad shagnau tat tejo viddimam makam. Yat, that which Adityagatam, in the sunshine, Tejaha, splendor, Jagat, the whole world, Bhashayate, illuminates, Akhilam, entirely, Yat, that which Chandramasi in the moon, Yat, that which Cha also, Agnau in the fire, that Tejaha splendor, with thee understand, Mama, come from me. Translation. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me. The intelligent cannot understand how things are taking place. The beginning of knowledge can be established by understanding what the Lord explains here. Everyone sees the sun, moon, fire, and electricity. One should try to one should simply try to understand that the splendor of the sun, the splendor of the moon, and the splendor of the electricity or fire are coming from the Supreme Person of Godhead. Did we read this verse yesterday? I think did read it. In such a conception of life, the beginning of Krishna consciousness lies a great deal of advancement for the conditioned soul in this material world. The living entities are essentially the parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, and he's giving here with the hint how they can come back to Godhead, back to home. From this verse, we can understand that the sun is illuminating the whole solar system. There are different universes and solar systems, and there are different suns, moon, and planets also. Sunlight is due to the spiritual effulgence in the spiritual sky of the Supreme Lord. With the rise of the sun, the activities of human beings are set up. They set fire to prepare their foodstuffs, they set fire to start the factories. So many things are done with the help of fire. Therefore, sunrise, fire, and moonlight are pleasing to the living entities. uh, hmm, we're at the wrong place. We were at the pictures. Oh, here is worship in three different modes. Goodness is demigod worship. Then there is passion, and this is ignorance. There are three kinds of faith: that in the modes of goodness, that in passion, and that in ignorance. It was faith, not worship. It was faith. Here is the 5 factors for action. Or, yeah. The place of action, here it's the marketplace. The performer, here is the man. The senses, the endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. Well, this is the senses, I think, yeah.
This is for the chapter 13.
Yes, Prabhu, I think. The place of action, performer. One, two. By worship of the Lord, man can, in the performance of his own duty, become perfect. So here is the 4 varnas.
Varnashram Dharma.
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu. Oh, I thought first this is a rock, but it's a cow.
Yeah, yes. Sulabi cow.
Yes, Prabhu.
This picture is so beautiful.
Yes, Prabhu. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Oh, here's a Warfield. Wherever there is Krishna and Arjuna, there will certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. Yasmad ksharam atito ham aksharaadapi chottama atosmi loke vede cha pratita purushottama. Translate. No. Yasmat, because, Ksharam, the fallible, Atitaha, transcendental, Aham, I, Aksharat, from the infallible, Api, better than that, Cha, and Uttama, the best, Ataha, therefore, Asmi, I am, Loke, in the world, Vede, in the Vedic literature, Cha, and Pratitaha, celebrated, Purushottama, as the Supreme Personality. Translation. Because I am transcendental, beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as the supreme person. Ribu. Purport. No one can surpass the supreme person of Godhead. Krishna. Neither the conditioned soul nor the liberated soul. He is, therefore, the greatest of personalities, Now it is clear here that the living entities and the Supreme Person of Godhead are individuals. The difference is that the living entities, either in the conditioned state or in the liberated state, cannot surpass in quantity the inconceivable potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Haribol. Okay, 1 Street text number 19.
My Prabhu, like,
Yes, bro.
okay, thank you. Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance. So,
Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
have completed today on the way to Krishna book.
Haribol, very nice, bro.
Okay, I will read. Yo mam evam asmudho janati purushottamam sa sarvavid vajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. यह anyone mom unto me evam certainly asamudha mudha without a doubt janati knows purushottamam the supreme personality of godhead saha he sarva sarvavit sarvavit knower of everything bhajati renders devotional service mam unto me sarva bhavena in all respects. Bharata, O son of Bharata. Translation: whoever knows me as the supreme personality of Godhead without doubting is to be understood as the knower of everything, and he therefore engages himself in full devotional service. O son of Bharata. Purport: there are many philosophical speculations about the constitutional position of the living entity and the supreme person, supreme absolute truth. Now, in this verse, the supreme personality of Godhead clearly explains that anyone who knows Lord Krishna as the supreme person is actually the knower of everything. The imperfect knower goes on simply speculating about the absolute truth, but the perfect knower, without wasting his valuable time, engages uh, directly in Krishna consciousness, the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Although, throughout the whole of Bhagavad Gita, this fact is being stressed at every step, and still there is so many stubborn commentators on Bhagavad Gita who consider the supreme absolute truth and the living entity to be one and the same. Vedic knowledge is called Shruti, learning by oral reception. One should actually receive the Vedic message from authorities like Krishna and his representatives. Here, Krishna distinguishes everything very nicely, and one should hear from this source. Simply to hear, uh, like the hawks, is called sufficient. Simply to hear like the hawks is not sufficient. One must be able to understand from the authorities. It is not that one should simply speculate academically. One should submissively hear from Bhagavad Gita that say that these living entities are uh, always subordinate to the supreme personality of Godhead. Anyone who is able to understand this according to the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna knows the purpose of the Vedas. No one else knows the purpose of Vedas. The word bhajate is very significant in many places. The word bhajate is expressed in the relationship with the service of the Supreme Lord. If a person is engaged in full Krishna consciousness in devotion service of the Lord, it is to be understood that he has understood all the Vedic knowledge in the Vaishnava Parampara. It is said that if one is engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, then there is no need for a spiritual process to understand the Supreme absolute truth. He has already come to the post because he is engaged in the devotion service of the Lord. He has ended all preliminary process of understanding. Similarly, if anyone after speculating for hundreds of thousands of lives does not come to the point that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and that one has to surrender there all his speculation for so many years and lives is a useless waste of time. Text 20. Iti guyatamam shastram idam uttam mayanag mayanagha yedha yedha uddhava buddhiman syat krita कृत्यश्च भारत iti those Gyuathamam, the most confidential shastram, revealed scriptures, idam, these, uktam, disclosed Maya by me, anagaha, O sinless one, etat, this, buddhava, understanding, buddhiman, intelligent, syat, one becomes krityaha, the most perfect cha, and bharata, o son of Bharata. Translation: this is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, o sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will knows perfection. Prabhu, voice and endeavors means what, Prabhu? Voice means meaning of voice, becoming voice. He wants to keep an eye over.
Wise means intelligent.
Oh, intelligent, huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Endeavors means
To
endeavors
work
will.
for.
Sorry, bro.
It's like work, like working.
Oh, okay. No perfection. His endeavors will no perfection. Okay. Purport. The Lord clearly explains here that this is the substance of all revealed scriptures, and one should understand this as it is given by the supreme personality of Godhead. Thus, one will become intelligent and perfect in transcendental knowledge. In other words, by understanding this philosophy of the supreme personality of Godhead and engaging in his transcendental service, everyone can become freed from all contaminations of the modes of material nature. Devotional service is the process of spiritual understanding. Uh, Wherever devotional service exists, the material contamination cannot coexist. Devotional service to the Lord and the Lord Himself are one and the same because they are spiritual, the eternal energy of the Supreme Lord. The Lord is said to be in the sun, and ignorance is called darkness. Where the sun is present, there is no question of darkness. Therefore, whenever devotion service is present under the proper guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, there is no question of ignorance. Everyone must take to this consciousness of Krishna and engage in devotional service to become intelligent and purified. Unless one comes to this position of understanding Krishna and engages in devotional service, or whoever intelligent he may be in, however intelligent he may be in the estimation of some a common man, he is not perfectly intelligent. The word anagha by which Arjuna is addressed is significant. Anagha, O sinless one, means that unless one is free from all sinful reaction. It is very difficult to understand Krishna. One has to become free from all contamination, all sinful activities. Then he can understand. But devotion service is so pure and potent that when he is engaged in Krishna devotion service, he automatically comes to the stage of sinlessness. While performing devotion service in the association of pure devotees, in pure devotees in full Krishna consciousness, there are certain things which required to be vanquished altogether. The most important thing one has to surmount is weakness of the heart. Surmount means, Prabhu, the most important thing one has to overcome. Okay. The most important thing one has to surmount his weakness of the heart. The first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over material nature. Those one gives up the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord. The second weakness of the heart is that as one increases the propensity of lording it over material nature, he becomes attached to matter and the possession of matter. Possession of the matter. The problems of material existence are due to this weakness of the heart. Those end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 15th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of Purushottama Yoga, the yoga of the Supreme Person. Haribo. Haribo.
Haribo.
Haribo. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada, Jai.
Wants to continue the chapter 16, the divine and demonic natures.
This one is long. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we can read one more verse because it is 7 pages. So who wants to read?
Can I read?
Yes, Prabhu. Haribo.
Jai.
Oh, it's not there.
The divine and demoniac nature. Shri Bhagavan Abhayam Satvasam Sudhirgyanam Yoga Vyavastitihi Danam Damascha Yagyascha Svadhyayastapa Aljavam Ahimsa Satyam Akrudas Tyagam Santirlapaishunam Daya Bhuteshu Alurupam Maldavam Lil Achapalam Tejam Kshamadliti Shaucham Adroho Nati Manitam Bhavanti Sampadam Daivim Abhijata Syabalatam. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Bhayam, fearlessness, Sattva Samsuddhihi, purification of one existence, Jnana, knowledge, Yoga of linking up, Vyavastitihi, the situation, Dhamma, Dhanam, clarity, Dhammaha cha, and controlling the mind, Yagya cha, and performance of sacrifice. Svadhyaya, study of Tyagaha, renunciation, Santi, tranquility, Apaishunam, aversion to faults finding, Daya, mercy, Bhuteshu, toward all living entities, Vam, friendliness, Lihi, modesty, Achapalam, determination, Tijaha, vigor, Kshama, forgiveness, Dritihi, fortitude, Shaucham, cleanliness, Adroha, freedom from envy, Na, not, Achimanita, expectation of honor, Bhavanchi, become, Sampadam, quality, Daivim, transcendental, Abhijatasya, one who is born of Balata, O son of Balata. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity and simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault finding, compassion and freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, and steady. Yes, this word is very hard.
It's something. It's like greedy or something. Showing
Okay, having a strong desire for. Okay, showing a strong desire for special material possession. Covetousness, okay. Gentleness, modesty, and steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, freedom from envy, and the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities or son of Bharat belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Purport: in the beginning of the 15th chapter, the banyan tree of this material world was explained. The extra roots coming out of it were compared to the activities of the living entities, some auspicious, some inauspicious. In the 9th chapter also, the devas or godly and the ashura, the ungodly or demon, were explained. Now, according to Vedic rites, activities in the modes of goodness are considered auspicious for progress on the path of liberation. And such activities are known as Deva connection. Slow, I think. Prakriti, transcendental by nature. Those who are situated in the transcendental nature make progress on the path of liberation. For those who are acting in a mode of passion and ignorance, on the other hand, there is no possibility of liberation. Either they will have to remain in this material world as human beings, or they will descend among the species of animals or even lower than life forms. In this 16th chapter, the Lord explained both the transcendental nature and its transcendental nature and its attendant quality, as well as the demoniac nature and its qualities. It also explained the advantage and disadvantage of this quality. The word abhijatasya in reference to one born of transcendental qualities or godly tendency is very significant. To beget a child in a godly atmosphere is known in the Vedic scriptures as Garbhada na samskala. If the parents want a child, in a godly quality, they should follow the 10 principles of the human beings. In Bhagavad Gita, we have studied also before that sex life for begetting a good child in Krishna himself. Is Krishna himself. Sex life is not condemned, provided the process is used in Krishna consciousness. Those who are in Krishna consciousness at least should not beget children like cat and dogs, but should beget them so they may become Krishna conscious after birth. That should be the advantage of children born of the father and or mother absorbed in Krishna consciousness. The social institution known as Varnashram Dharma, the institution dividing society into 4 divisions of caste, is not meant to divide human society according to birth. Such divisions are in terms of educational qualification. They are to keep the society in a state of peace and prosperity. The quality mentioned herein are explained as transcendental quality means for making a person progress in spiritual understanding so he can get liberated from the material world. In the Varnashram institution, the sannyasi, or the person who in the renounced order of life, is considered to be the head of the spiritual or the spiritual master of all the social statutes and order. A Brahmana is considered to be the spiritual master of the 3 other sections of the society, namely the Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. But a sannyasi who is on the top of the institution is considered to be the spiritual master of the Brahmanas also. For a sannyasi, the first qualification should be fearlessness, because the sannyasi has to be alone without any support or guaranteed of support. He has simply to depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he think, after leaving my connection, who will protect me? He should not accept the renounced order of life. One must be fully convinced that Krishna, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his localized aspect as Paramatma, is always within, that he is saying everything and he is always knows what one intend to do. One must thus have firm conviction that Krishna as Paramatma will take care of a soul surrendered to him. I shall never be alone. One should think, even if I live in the darkest region of forest, I shall be accompanied by Krishna, and he will give me all protection. That conviction is called abhayam, without fear. This state of mind is necessary for a person in the renounced order of life. Then he has to purify his existence. There are so many rules and regulations to be followed and in the renounced order of life. But most important of all, a sannyasi is strictly forbidden to have any intimate relationship with a woman. He is forbidden to talk with a woman in a secluded place. Lord Chaitanya was ideal sannyasi, and when he was at Puli, his feminine devotees could not even come near to offer their respects. They were advised to bow down from a distant place. This is not a sign of hatred for women as a class, but it is a stricter imposed on the sannyasi not to have close connection with women. One has to follow the rules and regulation of particular statute of life in order to purify his existence. For a sannyasi, an intimate relation with women and possession of wealth for sense gratification are strictly forbidden. the ideal sannyasi was Lord Chaitanya himself, and we can learn from his life that he was very strict in regard to women, although he is considered to be the most liberal incarnation of Godhead, accepting the most fallen conditioned soul. He strictly followed the rules and regulation of the sannyasa order of the life in connection with association with women. One of his personal associates, namely Chota Haridas, was personally associated with Lord Chaitanya along with his other confidential personal associates. But somehow or other, this Chota Haridas looked lustily on a young woman. Then Lord Chaitanya was so strict that he at once rejected him from the society of his personal associate. Lord Chaitanya said, for a sannyasi or anyone who is aspiring to get out of the clutches of the material nature and trying to elevate himself to the spiritual nature and go back to home, back to Godhead, for him, looking toward material possession and woman for sense gratification, not even enjoying them, but just looking toward them with such a propensity, it so condemned that he had better commit suicide before experiencing such illicit desires. So strict. So these are the process for purification. Is not like the so-called ISKCON guru. Actually,
Yes, Prabhu.
this is so low in standard. Actually, the sannyasi in ISKCON.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. The next item is Jnana Yoga Vyavastiti. Being engaged in the cultivation of knowledge, sannyasi life is meant for distributing knowledge to the householders and others who have forgotten their real life or spiritual advancement. Sorry. A sannyasi is supposed to beg from door to door for his livelihood, but this does not mean that he is a beggar. Humility is also one of the qualifications of a transcendentally situated person, and out of out of sheer humility, the sannyasi goes from door to door, not exactly for the purpose of begging, but to see the householders and awaken them to Krishna consciousness. This is the duty of a sannyasi. If he is actually advanced and so ordered by his spiritual master, he should preach Krishna consciousness with logic and understanding. And if he is not so advanced, he should not accept the renounce order of life. Yeah, very clear. But even if he has accepted the renounced order of life without sufficient knowledge, he should engage himself fully in healing from a bona fide spiritual master to cultivate knowledge. Sannyasi, or one in the renounced order of life, must be situated in fearlessness, sattva samshuddhi, purity, and jnana yoga knowledge. The next item is charity. Charity is meant for the householders. The householders should earn a livelihood by an honorable means and spend 50% of their incomes to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. Thus, a householder should give in charity to such institutional societies that are engaged in that way. Charity should be given to the right receiver. There are different kinds of charities, as will be explained later on. Charity in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. Charity in the mode of goodness is recommended by the scripture, but charity in the mode of passion and ignorance is not recommended because it is simply a waste of money. Charity should be given only to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. That is charity in the mode of goodness. Then, as far as dharma, self-control is concerned, it is not only meant for other orders of religious society, but it is specially meant for the householder. Although he has a wife, a householder should not use his sense for sex life unnecessarily. There are restrictions for the householder even in sex life, which should only be engaged in for the propagation of children. If he does not require children, he should not enjoy sex life with his wife. Modern society enjoys sex life with contraceptive methods and are abominable methods, or more abominable methods to avoid the responsibility of children. This is not in the transcendental quality, but is demoniac. If anyone, even if he is also the wants to make progress in a spiritual life, he must control his sex life and should not beget a child without the purpose of serving Krishna. If he is able to beget children who will be in Krishna consciousness, one can produce hundreds of children, but without this capacity, one should not indulge in only for sense pleasure. Hundred of children. Yeah. This is too much.
Yes, Prabhu.
I will die after that. Sacrifice is another item to be performed by the householders because sacrifice requires a large amount of money. Other orders of life, namely the brahmacharya, the vanaprastha, and sannyasa, have no money. They live by begging. So performance of different types of sacrifice is meant for householders. They should perform Agni Hotra, sacrifice as enjoined in the Vedic literature, but such sacrifice at the present moment are very expensive and it is not possible for any householder to perform them. The best sacrifice recommended in this age is called Sankirtana Yagya, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. This is the best and most inexpensive sacrifice. Everyone can adopt it and derive benefit to. So these three items, namely charity, sense control, and performance of sacrifice, are meant for householders. Then Svadhyaya, Vedic study, and tapas, austerity, and aljavam, gentleness, or simplicity are meant for the brahmacharya or student life. Brahmacharis should have no connection with women. They should live a life of celibacy and engage the mind in the study of Vedic literature for cultivation of spiritual knowledge. This is called Swadhyaya. Tapas or austerity is specially meant for the retired life. One should not remain a householder throughout his whole life. He must always remember that there are four divisions of life: brahmacharya, grihastha, vanapashta, and sannyasa. So after grihastha or householder life, one should retire. If one lives for 100 years, he should spend 25 years in student life, 25 in householder life, 25 in retired life, and 25 in the renounce order of life. These are the regulation of Vedic religious discipline. A man retired from household life must practice austerity of the body, mind, and tongue. That is tapasya. The entire Varnashram Dharma society is meant for tapasya. Without tapasya or austerity, no human being can get liberation. The theory that there is no need of austerity in life, that one can go on speculating and everything will be nice, is neither recommended in the Vedic literature nor in Bhagavad Gita. Such theories are manufactures by show bottle spiritualists who are trying to gather more followers. If there are restriction, rules, and regulation, people will not become attracted. Therefore, those who want follower in the name of religion just to have a show only don't restrict the lives of their student nor their own life. But that method is not approved by the Veda. Yes, ISKCON Guru. As far as simplicity is concerned, not only should a particular order of life follow the principle, but every member, be he in Vanashram Dharma, ashrama, or Grihastha ashrama, or Vanaprastha ashrama, must live very simply. Ahimsa means not arresting the progressive life of any living entity. One should not think that since the spirit spark is never killed, even after the killing of a body, there is no harm in killing animals for sense gratification. People are now addicted to eating animals. In spite of having a ample supply of grain, fruits, and milk, there is no necessity for animal killing. This injunction is for everyone. Where there is no other alternative, one may kill an animal, but it should be offered in sacrifice. At any rate, where there is an ample food supply for humanity, persons who are desiring to make advancement in spiritual realization should not commit violence to animals. Real ahimsa mean, means not checking anyone progressive life. The animals are also making progress in their evolutionary life by transmigrating from one category of animal life to another. If a particular animal is killed, then its progress is checked. And if an animal is staying in a particular body for so many days or so many years and is ultimately killed, remaining days in order, then he has to come back again in that form of life to complete the remaining days in order to be promoted to another species of life. So their progress should not be checked simply to satisfy one's palate. This is called ahimsa, satyam. This word means that one should not distort the truth from some personal interest. In Vedic literature, there are some difficult passages, but the meaning of the purpose should be learned from a bona fide spiritual master. That is the process for understanding Vedas. Shruti means that one should hear from the authority. One should not construe some interpretation for his personal interest. There are so many commentaries of Bhagavad Gita that misinterpret the original text. The real import of the world should be presented, and that should be learned from a bona fide spiritual master. Akrodha means to check anger. Even if there is provocation, one should be tolerant. For once become angry, his whole body become polluted. Anger is the product of the modes of passion and lust. So one who is transcendentally situated should check himself from anger. Paishunam mean that one should not find faults with others or correct them unnecessarily. Of course, to call a thief is not fault finding, but to call an honest person a thief is very much offensive. For one who is making advancement in spiritual life, he means that one should be very modest and must not perform some act which is abominable. Achapalam Determination means that one should not be agitated or frustrated. In some attempts, there may be failure in some attempt, but one should not be sorry for that. He should make progress with patience and determination. The word tejaha used here is meant for Kshatriya. Kshatriya should always be very strong to be able to give protection to the weak. They should not pose themselves as non-violent. If violence is required, they must exhibit it. Shoucham. Shoucham means cleanliness, not only in the mind and body, but in one's dealing also. It is especially means for the mercantile people who should not deal in the black market. Nati manita, not expecting honor, applies to the Sudra, the worker class, which are considered, according to the Vedic injunction, to be the lowest of the four classes. They should not be puffed up with unnecessary prestige or honor, or should remain in their own status. It is the duty of the Shudra to offer respect to the higher class for the upkeep of the social order. All these 16 qualifications mentioned are transcendental qualities. They should be cultivated according to the different stages of the social order. The purport is that even though material conditions are miserable, if these qualities are developed by practice by all classes of men, then gradually it is possible to rise to the highest platform of transcendental realization. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
This was a long one.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
that was really long.
I'm really glad I'll be able to read it somehow. Thank you for bear with my English.
Yes, it was really nice.
It's
Haribo.
good, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, it's good.
It was good. Hare Krishna. Yes. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank
Haribo.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Jai.
Srila Prabhupada.
I'm tired now. Can I read the first?
Oh, Hero Prabhu, I think it's explained in the next.
Okay, Prabhu.
Ah, okay. I think that it was the
Explained that.
Shishastakam prayer. Sorry.
I think it was maybe in the chapter of 3 modes of material nature. I'm not sure yet, or let's see. Yes, Prabhu. In next chapter it is. See, this is example of charity in mode of ignorance. And charity performed at an impure place, at an improper time, to unworthy persons, or without proper attention and respect is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
Okay. So
See,
it comes next anyway. Yes.
there's purport example. Contributions for indulgence in intoxication and gambling are not encouraged here. That sort of contribution is in the mode of ignorance. Such charity is not beneficial. Like if you see someone begging on the street and you know he's going to buy the drug or something, if you give charity that, oh, go buy your beer bottle, So that is charity in mode of ignorance.
Yeah, I've seen those. Actually, some even write a sign like it's beer money or something,
Yeah,
especially in Helsinki.
yeah. Let's see. Previous one, is it? Yeah, and when Prahlad Prabhu explained this also, but in last Istagosti. But yeah, when you give charity and you expect some return, that is in passion. Or in grudging mood. In someone asks for charity, you give like in grudging mood. You don't want to really give, but you're like, oh, take it, and you're like, take it then. They're like that.
And that expectation is also, even though it would be for like a temple, but if you expect like I get something good for this,
Yes, Prabhu, it's also
okay, yeah, it's wrong. Okay, but it's very difficult if you're very conditioned, right, like me right now, and I know that giving charity to the temple is the right thing, but how do I know I'm doing the right way? Like,
even if you
am
do
I expect?
even if you do that in the mode of passion, that is still spiritualized, because you're using your passion in a spiritual way, so that is spiritualized. Even if you
Oh,
even
right.
if you surrender to Krishna in the motive of getting something, that is still it brings you to the spiritual stage eventually, so that is it's spiritual.
Yeah, and the only way to purify the
Yeah.
mode of passion, for example, that so yes,
See here, charity given out of duty, without expectation of return, at proper time and place, and to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness. And it's different to one. This return means, material return. In the other one also. Because, when you donate to temple, you know that they are not going to send you that money back. If you expect that you're going to get that money back, then it means it's in passion. But if you want some spiritual return, that's different. I don't think it means this.
okay, so it means my material.
Yes,
And anyway,
yes.
it's all this purity, yes.
Yes, Prabhu. At the proper time and place, and the worthy persons is considered to be in the mode of goodness. But this donating to temple is even over this. It's Shuddha Sattva, because it's spiritual. It is even above this charity in the mode of goodness.
So goodness
Yes.
is for something like what the poor people, like helping others in bad situation or something.
Yes, Prabhu, let's see.
Like,
Let's see what Prabhupada explains. In the Vedic literature, charity given to a person this is for person engaged in spiritual activities is recommended. There is no recommendation for giving charity indiscriminately. Spiritual perfection is always a consideration. Therefore, charity is recommended to be given at a place of pilgrimage and at lunar or solar eclipse or at the end of the month or to a qualified Brahmana or a Vaishnava devotee or in temples. Such charity should be given without any consideration of return. Charity to the poor is sometimes given out of compassion, but if a poor man is not worth giving charity to, then there is no spiritual advancement. In other words, it's indiscriminate charity. Indiscriminate charity is not recommended in the Vedic literature. So I think in this age, there is not much charity in the mode of goodness to be done other than to temples and to devotees. Because who other person would be a worthy person than the Brahmana or Vaishnava or
Yes, Prabhu.
is that fast? What mode is that passion and ignorant when you give to the mikä on punainen risti? You know the
Yeah, that is
Peace and charity.
I think, yeah, they don't know where that goes. I think it's, but they are not. I think that is like in the mode of ignorance in my mind, but I'm not sure because they don't know even where the money is going. Because
Oh,
if it was in the mode of passion, they would want something back, but this Red Cross won't give them anything back. So, but I think some donate that they think that if I help someone now, then someone will help me in future. So they might think like that also.
So it could be in the mode of passion too.
Yes, Prabhu. Let's see what was the passion. Yeah. Yeah, it could be in the passion also.
Expecting returns. So yeah, you
But
can
this
be help.
yeah, here it is said that unworthy persons or without proper attention.
Yeah, yes.
Because
That's
that
right.
is kind of without proper attention, because they don't know where it's going. Some person comes in the street and says, "Oh, I'm getting money to send in Africa." Some person needs food, and they ask like this. So they don't know anything about where the money is going. Is it going to go to some meat in industry, or where is it going? So it's without proper attention. They just give it. It's like mixed in passion and ignorance. Charity is sometimes performed for elevation to the heavenly kingdom, and sometimes with great trouble and with repentance afterwards. Why have I spent so much in this way? Charity is also sometimes given under some obligation and at the request of superior. Yeah, it doesn't usually come out of their own will. There is some person asking, some Red Cross person asking that, oh, please give me. And yeah, it's under a request. These kinds of charity are said to be given in the mode of passion. There are many charitable foundations which offer their gifts to institution where sense gratification goes on. Such charities are not recommended in the Vedic scriptures. Only charity in the mode of goodness is recommended. Yeah.
okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Now it explains everything.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, it's mixed in passion and ignorance.
Yeah, just like this world is in the passion and ignorance.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay, Haribol, who wants to read the first one?
Can I read?
Yes, Prabhu.
चेतोदर्पणमर्चनं भवमहादवग्निनिर्वापनं श्लेयखैलवचन्द्रिकावितलनं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रचिपदं पूर्णमृतस्वदनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं फलं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्
Nam namakari bahuda nija sarva shaktis tata pritanyamita smaranena karaha itarihita va kripa bhagavan mamapi durdevam nisham nijani anuragaha.
Trinadapi Sunichena Karorapi Sahisnuna Amanya Manadena Kirtaniya Sada Hari.
नजनं न सुन्दरं कादितां वा जगदीशकामये मम जन्मनीश्वरे भगवद्भक्तर्हैतुकित्वयि
ऐनन्दतनुजा किङ्करं पतितां मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजास्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय
नयनं गलदश्लूदयलं वदनं गद्गदरुदयगिलं पुलकैर्निचितं वपुकदं तव नमग्रहणे भविष्यति
युगायितां निमिषेण चक्षुषा प्रविशयितां शून्ययितां जगत् सर्वं गोविन्दविरये नमे
अश्लिष्य वा पादरतं पिनष्टु मम अदर्शनं मर्महतं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विधातु लम्पतो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः. Translation. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to the living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting this name. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy name. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction from that.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, taking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all senses of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaja Ananta Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your Lord's feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
Oh Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace and makes me broken heart by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Ibo Sri Siksaskatam ki jai.
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 Okay, now the 10 offenses to the holy name. First offense, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second offense, to consider the name of the Mikola Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu.
To disobey the order of the spiritual master.
4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version.
Fifth one, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
Offense number 6, to give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord.
Offense number 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
Offense number 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activity which are offered in the Veda as fruitive activities, karma kanda.
Ninth offense, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
Ribon.
10th offense, to not have complete faith in the chanting of holy name and to maintain material attachments. Even after understanding so many instructions on this matter, it is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. Vanchakalpatarupishta
कृपा
Sindhu
सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितं पावनेभ्यो
Titanam
वैष्णवेभ्यो
Pavanebhyo
नमो
Navibhyo Namo Namaha.
नमः। पंचतत्व की जय, प्रभु की जय, श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय, श्रील प्रभुपद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल।
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bo.